Good morning and welcome to another informative episode of Housing Development, your go-to source for housing trending information. As usual, I am your housing diva, Flora Annie. Coming up on the program, housing stakeholders speak on affordable housing delivery, says government collaboration with the private sector is needed. Plus, Cooperative Mortgage Banks reveals possibilities of easy home ownership for every Nigerian. On Voices on the Street, we'll be sampling the opinion of some Nigerians on their preferred state to live in the country. This and more will be coming up on the program today, right after the trending housing news.
Popular human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, has offered to give free legal services to the Nigerian Institute of Building, NIOB, to stem the rising wave of collapsed buildings in Nigeria. Falana, who was a keynote speaker at the 51st Conference and Annual General Meeting of the NIOB in Lagos, said the major cause of building collapse in Nigeria was the presence of quacks in the industry. According to him, unlike the legal profession in Nigeria, which had ensured that fake lawyers were arrested and prosecuted from time to time, the building profession had not taken any bold step to rid its rank of quacks who had been dominating the building industry. He urged professional builders to take up the challenge to end quackery by ensuring that private and public buildings are constructed by registered builders. In his speech, the NIOB president, Kunle Awobodu, stated that the NIOB is ready to prosecute any quack or builder who does not conform to the laid-down standards. The Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, NITP, has attributed communal clashes and farmers' herdsmen conflicts over ownership of land to lack of physical planning. The national president of NITP, Mr. Olutoyin Ayinde, made these remarks at a news conference in Abuja, noting that now is the time to plan and act. Ayinde, who said the clashes did not happen in the early days of the country simply because the population was small, revealed that failure to adhere to existing physical planning policies and improve on it is the reason Nigeria has been having all these crises today. According to him, there is the obvious necessity to manage this scarce resource, and the only way to manage a scarce resource, he therefore appealed to all governments to implement the National Urban and Regional Planning Law, saying the reality about fiscal planning is that we either plan or perish. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdulrasheed Bawa, has decried the poor enforcement of regulations by relevant authorities in the real estate sector. Bawa said this when he received members of the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating some real estate developers led by the chairman, Blessing Onyeche Onu, at the headquarters of the commission in Abuja. The EFCC spokesperson, Wilson Owujiren, in a statement said Bawa declared the real estate sector as a major conduit for money laundering in the country. He appealed to lawmakers to insist on the enforcement of regulations by relevant authorities as a way of checking sharp practices and money laundering by operators in the sector. He assured that the Commission is determined to fight financial crimes in the sector. Disturbed by shortage of artisans for construction and other sectors, the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, NAE, has called for harmonization of the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, and the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, to a new platform for skills development to be known as National Skills Fund, NSF. The body reiterated the need for apprenticeship training under the new National Skills Acquisition Framework across the country by the polytechnics, federal colleges of education, and technical colleges. The Executive Secretary, National Board for Technical Education, Professor Idris Bugaje, led the call at a virtual meeting entitled Technical and Vocational Education in Nigeria, Past, Present, and the Future, organized by the NAE. He said verifiers and assessors of all training institutions must be done immediately, while there should be the establishment of Entrepreneurship Development Bank to support small-scale entrepreneurs at very low interest rates for products of skill training such as Panteka Fabrication Hub in Kaduna and others in the different skills sectors. He emphasized that the future of work globally is based on a new currency, which is skills.
What is the name of my grandson?
Suleiman.
That's a good name. May the Almighty preserve him.
Amen.
Now that your family is growing, this is the time for you to start thinking of a house of your own.
Abba, the thought of this has always been on my mind. To build a house now, you need a lot of money, and that is what is holding me back.
Sonny, what you need is a mortgage. NHF mortgage loan. With NHF mortgage loan, you own a house upfront and pay gradually over a long period of time.
Abba, I will go to the FMBN office right away.
Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
For more news on housing, finance and construction, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Availability of adequate housing finance is a cornerstone of any effective and sustainable housing project. With the increasing demand for housing, it is becoming obvious that government alone can no longer provide adequate housing for all categories of our citizens, particularly the low-income earners. Against this backdrop, the stakeholders say strong collaboration from both the government and private sector is very crucial.
The planning, financial, construction and management of low-income housing is of great concern to stakeholders in the housing development sector. Finance is an essential requirement for housing development and has been variously adjudged to be the lifeline in real estate development. The availability of adequate housing finance is the cornerstone of any effective and sustainable shelter project. Inadequate quality and quantity of housing in the developing world, and particularly Nigeria, is largely due to poor and ineffective access to finance. According to Lawrence Wilbert, a private investor, he says paucity of funds in the real estate sector is a major challenge, but it will still not deter the people as they are still interested in the sector.
From a private investor perspective, it's quite interesting to see the products that are being offered by other investors, the large investors, and see how they are tapping into the market. But it's also interesting to find that the people people are still tapping into the sector. The sector is still vibrant in certain sense, even though there's paucity of funds. But, people are coming up with different products to see how they can create a business out of the sector.
Nigeria is said to be not alone, as financing is also the major issue facing the housing sector anywhere in the world. A Rwanda-based developer, engineer Kunu Hamni, says for affordable housing to be achieved, government should collaborate with the private sector and international financing aids for provision of funds for effective housing delivery for Nigeria.
A lot of the government practitioners in housing, they seem not to really understand what the difference between affordable housing is and what the real estate organizations are. There are a lot of funds there, globally, to support affordable housing. And you don't expect just the private sector to go headlong with those organizations. They need the support of the government, to be able to work in collaboration to guarantee that when they bring the fund into the country for affordable housing project, they will be able to take their fund back, after the construction is done.
Agu Chukwemele Lambert, The managing director, Enugu State Housing Development Corporation, on his part, said government should reduce or remove taxes on building materials for construction of houses and also grant waivers.
Not basically states, it should be from federal government. There are other ways you can reduce taxes. You have duty waivers on products, because it is these different components that you use to build a house that make it expensive. So when you bring the cost of those components, definitely you will have a low income house. Because if cement is cheap, if iron rods is cheap, if sand is cheap, if labor is cheap, then definitely the cost of houses will come down. And you cannot bring down the cost of these houses without bringing down the cost of those components.
There is the need for the government to actively involve the private sector in solving the problems of housing and home ownership in Nigeria. An enabling environment in terms of supporting policies and improved access to funds will bring stability and growth to the real estate industry. The government should also focus on offering incentives such as tax waivers, rebates, and significant concessions to encourage property developers to invest. This will make it easier for Nigerians to afford homes.
I am Dr. Sam Regu, Senate Committee Chairman on Housing. Keep watching Housing Development Program.
Indeed, government collaboration with the private sector is necessary for an effective development of affordable housing. Moving on, with the level of your income, which state will you prefer to live in Nigeria that will be affordable and cheap for you? Well, we'll sample the opinions of some Nigerians on this. Let's find out their response on Voices on the Street.
Where I would like to stay will be in Akwa Ibom State or in Edo State, where those places the houses are cheap. Even though the costing materials are so cost, we can still have a room of 20-25,000 naira in a year in Akwa Ibom State. And in Edo State, Akwa Ibom State, you can still have 2 rooms in 60 or 70,000.
Natural state, due to the condition, because I don't have much capital with me, so I can just I will just stay around that New Cairo side, because the place is very good, very calm, the environment is very conducive, even the road there are very good, and I can also afford the house there, because the house rent there is 40, 30 something, but compared to other places, you'll be seeing house of 150, 200, which we that we are not buoyant enough cannot be able to rent those houses.
Preferable is my state, which is Akwa Ibom State, where I come from. And it's because staying in the federal capital here, the life here is so expensive. The housing unit you are talking about here, you cannot afford the house in Abuja.
Abuja is more preferable for me, because there are better opportunities here. So if you want to live here and know what you are doing, why not? You get to where you are going easily.
In a place where I really want to stay in the whole of Nigeria, I would say I would prefer Plateau State, because the rate of housing is very affordable. A businessman can afford a house of its own, 12,000 naira, 15,000. You can stay with your family in your houses. But you see, if you have like, let's say 45,000 to 50,000 naira, a single room in Abuja here, it's something else.
My most preferred housing place I would like is Abuja. And why I like Abuja is because Abuja is safe to an extent, and Abuja is calm. You will not have the issue of everybody minding their business.
have it. Some of the states mentioned as the cheapest and the most preferred place to live are Akwa Ibom State, Edo State, Nasarawa, Plateau State, and someone actually mentioned Abuja. Well, it all depends at this point on your level of income. It is definitely different strokes for different folks. I'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. How easy is it for an average Nigerian, a low-income earning Nigerian, to own a house through mortgage? Well, the managing director of Cooperative Mortgage Bank reveals possibilities of easy home ownership for Nigerians. Take a listen.
The Cooperative Mortgage Bank has revealed the possibilities for every Nigerian, irrespective of his or her level of income, to own a decent and affordable home in any part of the country. The bank's managing director and chief executive who made this disclosure during an exclusive interview with Housing Development stated that the Cooperative Bank has various mortgage packages for every class of people who are in need of a decent and affordable home.
We are the only mortgage institution in Nigeria today that is providing mortgages for the informal sector. We have mechanics that we are giving mortgage, right? Which if they should go on their own to any other mortgage institution, they probably will not be able to get the mortgage. But because of what we are, because the mechanic belongs to a cooperative society, the cooperative society serves as his guarantor, right? And we're able to process the mortgage for them quite easily.
Cooperative Mortgage Bank, which is one of the leading mortgage brokers in the country, will be 28 years by February next year. Having been in the mortgage business for over 27 years, with branches and contact centers spread across 18 states in the Federation and hoping to increase to 24 states by the end of 2021, Cooperative Mortgage Bank holds as its primary administrative thrust the responsibility of helping cooperators own a home.
The workforce in Nigeria, either formal or informal, is about 30 million. Are we together? The cooperative movement is well over 20 million. So our own target, our own solution is let these 20 million cooperators, let's come together, we're saving this small money, painless money, and then from there, let's start to create houses and then back it up with mortgages. You understand? Once there's a mortgage for you to own a house, then the house can never be empty.
Mr. Kabir Ayinde Tukur, the Managing Director and Chief Executive, has disclosed that Nigeria's utilization of the advantages of mortgage benefits, especially in acquiring a home, is very low as compared to what is obtainable in other developed nations of the world. He cited that in developed countries, not less than 90% of homeowners utilize the mortgage scheme, whereas in Nigeria, the reverse is the case.
The economies of the developed countries sits on mortgages. About 95% averagely 95% of homeowners in the developed countries are on mortgages, while the reverse is the case in Nigeria. Less than 5% of homeowners in Nigeria bought their houses with mortgages. That's an aberration, let me put it to say. You understand correctly. Because what it means is that you are depending too much on cash to own your own home, or that you are funding the development of your house from your own income directly, right? So the chances of finishing the houses on time and at the right pricing is very, very slim.
With about 5 billion naira mortgage portfolio, which about two-thirds beneficiaries are average and low-income earners, Cooperative Mortgage Bank, which is solely a private mortgage bank, partners with the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Family Homes Funds Limited, and Coop Properties Development Company in the areas of housing development and provision of mortgages.
There is no doubt that housing deficit is one of the major problems in Africa, and the surge in demand for housing has increased to over 17 million in Nigeria. Although the housing backlog is a challenge, Cooperative Mortgage Bank, accredited by the Federal Department of Cooperatives, licensed and regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, insured by the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, and currently in the 7-man board of the International Cooperative Banking Association, ICBA, is bridging the gap by providing affordable houses to Nigerians. Cooperative Mortgage Bank is a key player in the Nigerian mortgage industry. By grouping people with similar needs and purchasing power and dealing directly with housing developers, significant cost saving can be achieved. This translates into very competitive mortgage offering by the bank. The bank has played a vital role in developing and contributing immensely to the growth of the economy and looks forward to continue meeting the housing needs of our esteemed customers. We bring the promise of a new quality of service to mortgage banking in Nigeria with a dedication to stand strong since our existence. Welcome to Cooperative Mortgage Bank. We are committed to giving you more.
Keep a date with Housing Development Program every week on AIT. Housing Development is the first and pioneer housing program in Nigeria and by extension, Africa. It remains the authentic voice of the Nigerian housing and construction industry. Housing Development is the only credible and specialized platform for seasoned professionals in the build industry, where quality and credible players in the real estate sector meet to interact, showcase, and analyze government policies. It is no doubt that hundreds of thousands of prospective Nigerians who desire to own their personal properties have done so through the assistance of Housing Development Program in the last 10 years. If you are a stakeholder in the build industry, here is where you must be. We are authentic, credible, and supported by all the leading professionals in the build industry. Housing Development on AIT.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global. Keep watching the Housing Development Program.
I'm Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States, and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
Kabir Ayinde Tukur there, the Managing Director of Cooperative Mortgage Bank, speaking of the possibilities for every Nigerian, irrespective of his or her level of income, to own a decent and affordable home in any part of the country. Still talking home ownership, here is a quick one from Cosgrove Investment Limited. Housing is a fundamental human right that must be guaranteed to everybody. For a socially just and sustainable recovery, we need to make sure that every citizen benefits from decent, affordable, and sustainable housing. Let's reflect on these as I end today's episode of the program. I remain your housing diva, Flora Annie. See you soon.